Puhertz Guide to Gardening. Part 3. Framing. This lesson is all about framing the structure and foundation you've acquired in Lessons 1 and 2. This session will allow you to take your gardening to the next level, using some helpful techniques starting with 1. The options for setting up your garden and things to prepare when starting your garden in different settings. 2. Transplanting, the pros and cons, ways to determine if transplanting is for you and your plant, and key tips to keep in mind when transplanting. And 3. Cloning/propagation, what it is, reasons to start and tips to ensure success. Setup options. There are two main problems gardens face depending on the type of garden space. The first is pest control and thinking of ways you'll be preventing and managing the likelihood of pest. The second is how your environment will affect the plants and gardening space, and what you should be aiming to achieve when interacting with the environment. In an indoor container garden, consider how you will be preventing pest and how you will supplement the environment. When thinking of how you will prevent pest, question where the plants will be. Is it near a door or window seal? Are outside plants close to the entrance? And can the space get cluttered or dirty quickly? If yes, consider adding a seal to your doors and windows, showering before interacting with the plants, and having a cleaning routine for that area. When supplementing the environment, think light, water, and soil, and how you can add these in your environment. In an outdoor greenhouse garden, the goal is to protect your plants from pest and supplement your environment when needed. Being outdoor, the plants are at a higher risk of pest, so consider what your plants will be in. By adding a barrier in the soil to deter pest, or utilizing companion planting. Outdoor greenhouse gardens can also be in ground. The shield from pest should be increased to ensure plant safety and health. Using a combination will increase success. Supplements in a greenhouse may include adding light, temperature controls, watering systems, and a designated compost/fertilizer area. When using outdoor container gardening, plan ways to shield your plants from pest and protect them from harsh environmental conditions. When planning to shield your plants, consider the material of the container, how easy something can get in, and how close is it to the ground. Build a defensive layer before laying soil in the container. You can use things like cardboard, straw, chicken wire, or newspaper to create a barrier between your plant and the ground. To protect them against the environment, adding shading and strong covers to protect from heavy rains, winds, harsh sun, and frost. Creating strong pole structures to hold and support tall plants to prevent stress during weather changes. Transplanting is when you replant a plant somewhere else. This can be useful when you want a plant to move up/down a container size, or if you're taking an indoor plant outdoor or an outdoor in. There are three main conditions to consider when choosing to transplant. Ask yourself the question for each, and the answer should help you determine the best replant situation for your plant. With water intake, ask yourself how often can you water. If you can only water once a week or bi-weekly, then consider moving your plant to a larger pot so the soil can hold more water for your plant. And if your plant is known to drink a lot of water, moving it up a size could be helpful. Unless you are doing a bonsai where moving to a smaller container and regularly watering is the goal, so you can create air roots. With root space, ask yourself, does the plant have room to grow? If you check your plant's roots and they've become a large ball, started to interlock with each other, or grow outside the container, then consider giving them more space for growth. And plant size. Do you want your plant bigger or smaller? You can trade containers depending on your desired plant size. Here are some transplanting tips. Transplanting is a very delicate process of rehoming your plant. So, consider the plant and your capabilities before deciding on transplanting. Always keep the roots safe. Lighter roots, usually see-through or white, are more fragile. Having light roots also means the plant is actively producing new water root shoots. While airborne roots are usually sturdy and dark in color, sometimes green or brown. Many tree plants develop these types of roots. Before transplanting, prepare your space with the materials you will be using, including the new container, soil, water, and something to cut with. Your cutting utensil should be sanitized and used for the plant you are currently working with to prevent infections and the spread of disease. Add mycorrhizae to the new soil and the roots of the plant. This will provide healthy and active microbial life for the roots. Allow your plant to recover from the shock of being transplanted by consistent watering, leaving it to be stationed in one spot for at least a week or two. Try not to move or alter the soil during this time. And do not prune or pick any leaves. Cloning/propagation. This is when you take a clipping of an existing plant and create an exact replica. There are many reasons you would take a clone of a plant. For many gardeners, it is a way to increase your harvest. For others, it is a great way to keep a very cherished plant around. When cloning, you house a mother plant, which is the main plant you will be taking clipping from. With this plant, your goal is to keep it in its vegetation stage so it does not start to flower or fruit. Keeping it in vegetation allows you to keep the plant in good health and gain many clippings to take. Some plants are vine plants and reproduce from vines laying in the soil. To control this natural instinct, you can keep the mother plant in water and let the vine grow alongside a wall or fence and add your clipping to the soil at will. If you are unsure of what plants you want to keep around, you can take one clipping of a plant, let it flower or fruit and try the produce, then determine if you would like to keep taking clippings. Cloning/propagation tips. 1. Most clones are grown with hydroponics, meaning many plants will clone if you keep the clipping in water, changing the water regularly to prevent infection or decay. 2. Clones can be started in something with little to no soil life like cocoa coir. Because soil life actively breaks down organic matter, you want something that can be kept moist and free of decay to give roots time to sprout. 3. There are commercial root stimulators that can be added to your water to increase the speed and chances of your clippings surviving the clone process. Without these additives, cloning may vary depending on the plant your clipping came from. The additives are usually root stimulative hormones that trigger root growth in clippings. And 4. Cloning/propagation should take place in a mostly sterile environment using very clean and sterile equipment. Specifically, whatever you plan to take the clippings with. You are performing plant surgery, so eliminating the chances of bad bacteria to infect your clipping and your mother plant is the goal. In the photo, you can see that the tip of the clipping is cut at an angle. This allows the clipping to have more space for root growth and is recommended for any clipping you take to cut at a 45-degree angle. Once you have roots, your clone clipping is ready to be placed in soil. Roots are fragile, so be careful and try not to break or disturb their natural positioning. We are framing our understanding of life and sustainability. While some techniques take time to hone in on and develop, others may come natural. Still, starting is always step one. Practice each technique, seek guidance, and above all, keep learning and keep educating.